All right. Hey, Desiree, how you doing?
Hey Clem, how's it going?
All right. Welcome to the role.
Thanks for having me.
All right. All right. Um, so today I just want to go over a couple of questions with you. The questions, I want them to be just really organic. I want you to tell us about your journey, from where you came and where you've gone to, and how your role has really spoken to you.
It's an interesting question right now. I'm like at a crazy crossroads in life, but I'm currently a mother of five between the ages of 18 and 11 months old now. And I travel all over the world. I'm a nonprofit leader. I also run some businesses, which are moderately profitable at this point. But I'm also a felon. I was facing 6 to 30 years in Cook County for the possession, manufacturing, distribution of cannabis. And this was back in 2012. At that point, I was in grad school at Ohio State, working on my master's of public administration. And it kind of like put my whole life on hold. I lost everything for one of the first times. And I just felt like everything I had worked toward, my two previous degrees, in political science and African American studies. I mean, they didn't really mean anything at that point. I wanted to be a lawyer. Now I'm a felon. I'm starting over life. I'm back in Philadelphia versus being in my network, in Ohio, where I was already doing things, internships with, House of Representatives and things out there. But so now, at this point, we've lived in Central America. We've lived in Belize for a couple of years, lived in Mexico for a couple of years. We're building a nonprofit here in Philadelphia. I've got some land in Arizona. So I don't say I regret anything because I'm so blessed for the journey that that is my life at this point. Right now, like we have a lot of things going on within our family. So, it is a crossroads. We are going through some struggles, but at the same time, we're equally blessed. We've established connections with the district attorney's office here to run a trauma healing and anti-violence program, as well as a community green space here in Philadelphia. So I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity and people believing in us. And the organization is called the Mastermind Cooperative. And I mean, there's so many other things. I wrote a book about the experience. If anyone wants to get a bit deeper, it's called Felony to Freedom, Journey to Liberating an Institutionalized Mind. And that's Journey to Liberating an Institutionalized Mind. I can speak fast sometimes, so that's about it.
Right, right. Um, well, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
The piece of advice that I would give myself at a younger age would be to not make decisions based on desperation. Um, I would definitely tell myself to run more thorough cost benefit analysis. Don't just jump into situations or say yes to things because it makes you money because you're desperate to get out of one circumstances because you could literally be jumping into something that's much worse than you're jumping out of. But at the same time, I can't say that I would want to intervene too much because literally that journey led me here. And the wisdom I've gathered along that route, like I wouldn't want to, like you talk about like a time machine, you're not
Mm.
supposed to get in there and like find your old self and interfere with that because you could literally like set off a chain of events like a butterfly effect and like destroy the world or something. Like who knows? But if I really would give myself or just a younger person that's like me, I would tell her like, just think about everything. Think about all the food you consume. Like, think about all the music that you listen to. Think about all the relationships that you build, and think about what impact that could have on your life for not only the just next few months, but the next, few years. Like, until you die, it literally will impact the way and how and when you die. So every single action, it sets off a chain of events and there will be reactions, there will be consequences. So to just be really mindful of the consequences that are associated with each decision that we make. And they say the average person faces about 35,000 decisions or choices a day. That's crazy, right? Because we breathe, but like every moment, like get on the bus, don't get on the bus, cross the street now, wait a second, say hi to that person, smile at that person, respond to this text, keep scrolling, put my phone down. Every single thing we have is a choice, the decision to keep breathing. So I would definitely just say be mindful of the choices and the potential actions or reactions that could come from those choices.
So then you would speak to saying that you would have to hone in some skills to have yourself ready. So were there moments when you doubted your readiness?
For sure, I would say most recently, in 2022, I was applying for a lot of jobs and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like step away from just being like a full-time mom, working on my businesses and things like that. I'm gonna just try to grind and work. And so I was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. I hadn't been working in a corporate space really since like 2014. I called that my Black Liberation Day. But I had been in Belize and doing all kind of things. So I was really, really insecure about how I would show up in the corporate space. And so I ended up getting a job. I got a few jobs, but one of my favorite jobs was as a talent acquisition sourcer for a defense contractor.
Mm,
And I was really nervous about this because this is a really high profile job. Like it paid really well. People that I've been working with have been like on the job for 10, 15, 20 years. And through the time that I was working there, I was able to travel around the country, Space Coast, Florida, um, Palmdale, California, St. Louis. It was really, really rewarding experience. By the time I left, I had some of the highest offer accept numbers on my team. I had like a broad profile of cleared, candidates, engineers, aerospace engineers that I have been, communicating with on LinkedIn and outside of social networking. And so, like, while I had doubted my preparedness or my skill set in this area because it was relatively new for me in that industry, I realized that if I just applied those transferable skills and I like worked my ASS off and I just did everything I saw other people doing, but try to level it up and like pull in that social media experience that I have. Because, I've been Instagramming for years, but pulling that into LinkedIn and making connections with HBC Connect. So we're able to get more candidates of color, and just my own passions pulling it into that talent acquisition space, I realized that I have no reason to have an imposter syndrome. This is a space where I was actually being recognized by my superiors for, the work that I was doing. They were putting me in leadership positions. I was sourcing for some like super high profile, top secret, technology. So I felt really blessed through that experience. I'm no longer there, of course, but I learned that I have no reason to doubt myself, and I learned to never doubt myself again. As long as I apply myself and I try to, stick with the solid work ethic, I can do anything.
okay, well, it seemed like you had a great opportunity there.
It
Uh,
was.
were
I
there
was
any?
afraid to take it. I was afraid to take it. My friend was like, you can do this, just try. Like nothing stops you, nothing's going to stop you. And then when I was hired, I was just flabbergasted. Like, they're not going to send me a laptop. I'm not going to do this. They
Mhm.
sent it and I started working and I was on teams. I'm like, this is really happening. Like I really learned so much and developed professionally through that experience. And yeah, I wouldn't take it back.
Well, were there any unexpected challenges or lessons that came with that opportunity?
Yes, I learned that I could not let go of my hood rat ways. Like so, okay, shortly before I was laid off, my contract ended. I had a situation with one of my coworkers. She was put on my team, and I think that she wanted to be the team leader. So she
Hmm.
was giving me like this weird resistance to almost everything, like going back to my supervisor saying little things, and I ended up basically calling her a Karen and
Oh,
like saying things in the group chat like she's not to be trusted. And I realized that like I just couldn't tolerate what I considered as disrespect. And I realized that even though I'm developing, even though I'm like working really hard and leading these groups and managing other people that have been working longer than I have, like there's just certain parts of me that, I just need to like run my own organization because I'm just not going to let people treat me a certain way and I can't tolerate certain things. And obviously that's signifies that I have more growing to do. I talked to my boss and his boss. We had meetings about it. And, he let me know like what she was doing was sassy. But the way I approached it, the way I addressed certain things in emails when I just couldn't tolerate things anymore was more as like, I'm the executive director of the Mastermind Co-op, but I'm a strategic talent sourcer. Like I'm on the team.
right.
So I realized that those are things that I need to work on if I do plan on working for someone else, especially with people that are not from our community, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, Was there ever a time when you realized you were missing a key life skill? How did you address that? And what did you learn?
I mean, that was one. Like I went from making, six figures to being unemployed within 2 weeks. And so it was a humbling experience. I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that about her. Maybe I shouldn't have said that she's not to be trusted in our group chat. Like, maybe I should have just handled the whole situation differently. But then I just remember like I'm me, like, and I was fuming. I was so angry. And so and I think a lot of that could be the trauma, like things that I've been through in my youth, like feeling disregarded or feeling disrespected or, feeling like people treat me like I'm inferior because I'm, my age or my gender or my skin color. And so, I definitely acted out. I felt like it was professional, but in retrospect, it wasn't professional. I think I may have been the only person doing those type of things and saying these type of things in the group or feel like I'm speaking out. Like they don't want activists, if we're not being recognized, they don't want someone talking to in the larger group saying, oh, so and so did this too, we can't forget to acknowledge them. They don't want that. They want you to do their job and they want you to be quiet. They want you to push the needle forward, they say, but really they still want you to, you know um they want you to be mostly compliant. So I learned that if I want to take a situation seriously, if I want to accomplish this particular goal by any means necessary, I need to learn to play the game by the rules that are set. But at the same time, I appreciated the fact that I knew that I wasn't willing to do anything or accept any kind of treatment just for the money. And so I also don't regret leaving. Like I've been able to focus way more on my children. I've been able to grow the mastermind cooperative and do things that I would have never been able to do if I was still working for a defense contractor. I had another baby abroad. Three of my children were born abroad, all dual citizens. And I wouldn't have been able to do all those things if I was still, confined to the United States working for a defense contractor.
Mm. Well, now, how do you use your life skills now to help others who are walking a similar path?
That's a great question. So, with the Mastermind Cooperative, I try to establish programming that I think will benefit people that are coming from similar situations. Like we have our career certification programs and project management, UX design, data analytics, cybersecurity, business management. All this is through Google and Coursera. So typically it costs about between $40 and $50 a month for subscription, but you're able to access that free through the Mastermind Cooperative. We offer dignified meals through our community partners on a weekly basis, prepared meals, fresh produce, high quality and perishable food, snacks, and we do that every Sunday and only. So we really want to focus on holistic well-being. We have a youth coding program. We have a youth and entrepreneurship program that anyone can take. And we're building really strong community partnerships. Role Initiative, of course, is one of those partnerships. And
Yeah,
we're definitely excited about, the forward growth. We're working on developing a lot to build a urban green resilience hub here in the city of Philadelphia. So there are a lot of things in the works that I'm really grateful for the experience and working with in these things and wellness and developing lots, with my self-funded with my own two hands, and now to be able to have backing from the city to make these things happen. I'm really excited about being able to share those skills that I've struggled through over the last 10 to 15 years to like share them in an efficient way so that other people can take that kind of content and digest it and see how it can apply to their lives and how it can help them in their journeys.
absolutely. And that's here to striving for excellence. Um, was there a specific goal or achievement that became your symbol of excellence?
I would say writing a book. I always felt like, no one will take you seriously until you write a book. And I really strove for that, So in 2001, I was able to publish my book, not 2001, I'm sorry, 2021. I
Okay.
published the book, I think it was November, December 2021. This before AI was a big thing. So like I literally wrote that thing.
Okay.
And I poured every single thought that I could think of into this book, like the experience that I had into that point. I poured it into there. I poured my soul into there. I poured not just my life experience, which I didn't want to talk about as much. I really want to talk about the beliefs and principles that led me to what I consider like freedom, to shed that like institutionalized mindset, which of course is a lifelong journey. I hadn't done it at that point. I was just what I consider free until that point. But I poured so much into it, and I don't feel like now that it's written, I felt like I made like this capstone achievement in life. I just felt like that's what I needed at that point for legitimacy and credibility. But I feel like at this point, like it's just the what is it like the goal keeps getting pushed forward. I recorded a song. I thought that was going to be what I wanted to do. I went out to LA and recorded with like this Grammy award-winning writer and producer. He's
Wow.
like I did this, and I'm like, no, like these are just bucket list items. Like they're not actually like life goals that make you successful. I think the most successful thing that I've done is I saw my 18-year-old son graduate high school.
Mm,
He's now in AmeriCorps. I mean, he just came back and from break, we went and picked him up, drove down there, road trip, picked him up from Georgia, and he is just I'm just so proud of him. He's just so much better of of a young person than I was. He's so well spoken and so thoughtful. I mean, he's dedicated. Like he's doing national service right now with AmeriCorps,
okay.
specifically FEMA. I mean, he said he canvassed about 4,000 houses. He's seen so many people going through things with Hurricane Helene, and I'm just really, really proud of my children. Mostly, they're the pride and joys of my life, and seeing how decent of people that they're becoming, and how intelligent and beautiful, and how kind they are, is definitely the gives me the most pride in life.
Absolutely. And now, with all of your achievements, of course, I recognize you. Now, did anyone else recognize your excellence along the way, and what did that validation mean to
Um, well, most recently, I participated in the Ford Philanthropy Fellowship. It started January of 2023, and not 2023. I'm sorry, we're
you?
2025.
Don't worry about it.
2024. Oh my
Right.
God, we're in the future for sure. So that, and I started that, I think Glory was about 2 weeks old when I started that fellowship. And I was nervous about whether I could keep up with all these people, around the world, as well as the cohort in the States. And I ended up winning first place in July. So I found out I'm first, the Mastermind Co-op me. I won first place in that for Philanthropy Fellowship, powered by Watson Institute. And I ended up graduating from the prison to PhD program, their 34th cohort.
Oh,
That,
congrats.
that was 23. And thank you, thank you. And I'm currently in the Reform Advocacy Institute. And we have our capstone and things going on in our first in-person meeting in February in New York. So that's really exciting. Some of the things that are happening, and some of the other organizations and institutions within Philadelphia that are supporting the work of the Mastermind Co-op as well.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Des, looking back at everything you've shared today, what's the one lesson or message you hope our audience takes away from your journey?
Hmm. I would say that just try to um just try to have the right intentions. Like I try to go into all situations. I don't make perfect decisions, but I try to have the right intentions. I try to make decisions that are beneficial to all or most of the people involved in the situation. I try not to go into a situation from a space of greed or selfishness or just trying to big up myself. I try to just like go into situations with the right intentions. And maybe it is selfish because I feel like if my intentions are right, then it's bound to work out for the good. I just feel like if you go into a situation with bad intentions, it's almost, even if you get a bunch of money, like at the end of the day, you're going to fail. You might end up being filthy rich and alone. People just gunning for you for your money. No love, no support. Maybe people that fear you. Like, I want to be surrounded by love. I want to I want to build things that are going to last. I don't want them to be temporary for just, immediate gain. I want to build businesses that are future forward, that are green. I don't feel like going green or sustainability is just for, rich people or white people or whatever. I feel like these are things that our communities have known to struggle. We've known to make do with nothing, and sustainability is for us. And sustainability is for us, and I think that we need to like reclaim that mindset and to build things that are long term for our children, for the future, that's good for the world that our children and grandchildren will inherit. And when we do that, I do think that things will work together for the good.
Okay. Well, for someone listening who may be facing challenges similar to what you've overcome, what's the first piece of advice you'd give them to take their first step?
I would say to try to identify your passion, and that's way easier said than done because I feel like I'm still discovering mine. Um, but I would say that if you just find the thing that like brings you joy, then you'll be able to be successful in anything. So yes, I would literally say to just find your passion. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but
Hmm.
I would just emphasize that because I know there may be barriers to that, like me as a mother of five or four little ones. Sometimes it's hard for me to like set aside some time to like record something. I actually have a song written that I want to record, but I'm like, when do I set the time aside to just get that done and like to really engage in my creativity and my artistry and do the things that bring me joy? But when you're able to discover what brings you joy, it becomes more easy to monetize that because people like to see you doing something that just like in your state of bliss. So if
Yeah.
you find the thing that brings you joy, try to monetize that, put it on YouTube. If you like to clean, offer that as a service. If you like to do hair, offer that as a service. Record that. You can also monetize that on YouTube. If you like to create content, you could do that. If you like to tie-dye clothes, sew things, color, paint, draw. If you like to, if you like science, consider going into engineering. Just find what it is that brings you joy that you could do for free and monetize that. And like I said, have the right intentions and just go into it knowing that you want to better the world, not just yourself, because if you better yourself, you are bettering the world. If everyone focuses on bettering themselves, the world would be a better place. So
Absolutely.
I would really focus on that. Like find your bliss, and do things that inspire joy and not only in yourself but in others. And it will magnetize the people to you. You will be growing your tribe and your community. And I say that as I'm actively trying to do that within my own life. But as again, like we're building the plane as we're flying or whatever they say.
Mhm.
And that's what's happening. So as I'm talking to you, I'm not preaching, I'm saying it, say this to myself all the time. Try to engage in activities that bring you joy and share that in your full authenticity.
Right. So, with a call to action, we want to know, where can our audience learn more about your work or any projects you're passionate
Okay, I mean, real easy. You could just find my work at www.desispeaks.life.
about?
It's like my link tree. It has everything I do on there, whether it's an online store, a webinar, social media, anything. It's a nonprofit, e-courses is all on there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Desiree Riley, for sharing your story with us. Your resilience and determination are truly inspiring. We are grateful for your time and wisdom today. Everybody, say hi and bye to Desi Speaks.
Peace, peace. Love y'all. Thanks for having me, Clem. I appreciate y'all and all the great work you're doing at the Rolling Stiff.
Thank you. And we love having you. Hope to
All
see you.
right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.